Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to TV6's Business Breakfast segment. Today, Monday, 14th November 2011, I'm Hayden Blades. In the studio this morning, we have none other than Dr. Ramila. He is the chair of the School of Business at the University of the Southern Caribbean, and he's here to talk about their seminar, which will be hosted on Sunday, 20th November from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Good morning, Dr. Ramila.
Good morning, Hayden.
And good to have you here on the Business Breakfast segment. So tell me, what is this seminar about?
This seminar is hosted by School of Business of University of Southern Caribbean.
Yes.
Entitled The Role of Entrepreneurship in Economic Development with reference to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
On November 20th, 2011, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
And that's on a Sunday?
Yes.
Now, tell me, it's a big theme because you're talking about the role of entrepreneurship in the development of Trinidad and Tobago. What do you anticipate to be the main issues to be addressed at this seminar?
Yes.
Because entrepreneurship is a major platform for the future growth and development in terms of finding new sectors, moving away from traditional sectors, and looking for those new opportunities in this evolving global environment. So what are some of the key issues that you think will be adequately addressed at the seminar?
There are some objectives or the aims of the seminar.
Yes.
The first objective is to motivate and guide the students or youth to enable them to take up a step forward for a self-employment and set up a small or micro enterprises as an entrepreneur.
So there's a strong youth focus in this, which is great.
Yeah, graduates.
And what are some of the other things that you want to accomplish at the seminar?
Yeah, to develop and reinforce values typical in entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
And then to internalize the mechanisms and concepts compatible with the establishment and running of successful business.
Great.
To facilitate the creative or innovative process, to form a business culture, reflect with creativity and responsibility.
Yes.
And to understand the emerging trends and entrepreneurial opportunities in various fields like IT, social, retail, education, health, and also should not forget women entrepreneurship, etc.
Excellent.
To provide information on government initiatives with regards to self-employment and setting up small and micro enterprises.
Yes.
And lastly, to provide policy advice to government and other stakeholders on issues related to entrepreneurship and enterprise development.
Excellent. Now, who might be some of the main speakers on this conference?
Yes. We have the future address will be given by Honorable Winston Dukaran, the Minister of Finance.
Yes.
The opening address will be given by the Governor of the Central Bank, Mr. Ewart Williams.
Williams, yes.
And of course, we have selected 4 presenters for the seminar. The first presenter will be Mrs. Georgina Terry. She is the business coach and consultant, BPD Associates Limited. Mrs. Terry will focus on 3 areas, defining the passion and vision of entrepreneurship, relationship with money, and also entrepreneurial skills and mindset.
Yes.
And also the qualities that are required, such as independence, achievement, self-development, decision-making, risk, creativity, innovation, self-confidence, social responsibility, leadership, etc.
That's a handful of stuff. Yes. What about the other speakers?
Yes. And the second presenter will be Mr. Alvin Daniel, the Managing Director, Comfort Engineering Limited. He will be focusing on entrepreneurship and cultural industry.
Excellent. And your third speaker?
Yeah. The third speaker will be Mr. David Hackett, Regional President, Business Banking, RBC, Royal Bank. He will be focusing on evaluating the economic impact of entrepreneurship in Trinidad and Tobago.
Excellent. I mean, you seem to have a very robust panel going forward. Now, tell me, Dr. Rumila, do you think, I mean, in your experience, in your research and looking at how entrepreneurship has facilitated economic development and growth and so on, do you think that entrepreneurship is something that can be taught? Or is this something that is, in fact, inherited? Or is it just an inherent skill or talent?
I feel many times, entrepreneurs at times are born and at times are made.
Yes.
At times are born. There are entrepreneurs, they are born with that kind of skills and zeal.
Yes.
There are also entrepreneurs who are developed, and they made it very big business entrepreneurs in their life.
Yes.
Right? So what happened is that here, I strongly believe, entrepreneurs can be made.
Do you think that in that context, the private sector in Trinidad and Tobago,
Yes.
do you get the sense that the private sector is evolving, it's changing, it's expanding, that there are now people who are willing to give this entrepreneurship option a real go in finding new ways to generate income and employment?
I can, to some extent, of course, it is gaining momentum, I can say.
Yes.
After the thrust actually given to the Minister of Labor, Small and Micro Enterprises Development.
Yes.
They have taken initiative of this IBIS program.
Right.
Integrated Business Incubator System program.
Yes.
After they have taken it, I am sure it has gained momentum in the economy.
In terms of the support system for these budding entrepreneurs,
Yes.
What can you say about what you have observed in Trinidad and Tobago in terms of the presence of NEDCO, the presence of BDC, the Business Development Company, excuse me, ADB, and so on? Do you think that the supporting infrastructure is adequate for our entrepreneurs?
I don't know much on that because given the fact that I was just reading an article, which is a news item in Newsday. There is what you call an agreement, memorandum of understanding signed between NEDCO and Labor Ministry.
Yes.
Here it says that they made an agreement, and if you see here, the program includes a mix of business development processes, is designed to provide micro and small entrepreneurs with necessary, physical infrastructure, financing, operational support and networking to develop them into sustainable competitive businesses.
Excellent. Now, what are some of the expected outcomes of this seminar on the role of entrepreneurship?
Yes.
What do you anticipate to be the benefits to be derived from attending this seminar?
Yes. There are a number of outcomes.
Yes.
That comes out of the seminar. The first one is increased awareness of entrepreneurship as a career option for business graduates and community members. Increased understanding of requirements of entrepreneurial spirit and mindset, and deeper linkages among the academicians and practitioners in entrepreneurship.
Right.
And then greater awareness of public and private sector funding for entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And also increased awareness of the need to create appropriate framework conditions both at national and local levels to foster and support entrepreneurship, like for example measures to facilitate access to entrepreneurship,
Yes.
example education and training, facilities to balance work and life, family life, access to finance, access to networks, and also increased awareness of need to incorporate the entrepreneurship dimension
Right.
of formation in all small-scale and medium industries.
Dr. Rumila, that's a lot to accomplish between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., yes?
No, this is also, yes.
What I wanted to be sure of, who's your target audience? I know that you said that this is going to be aimed at getting a lot of the youth involved.
Yes.
But apart from the youth being the targeted entrepreneurs, what about policymakers? What about the people who provide financial support, technical support. Are you also going to get them heavily involved on this particular day?
Okay, I want to admit here, Mr. Hayden, the School of Business of University of Southern Caribbean is taking initial step. This is our first initial step.
Yes.
Right? And we want to thrive in that direction.
Good.
In the years to come. But nevertheless, our target audience will be mostly the graduate students.
Good.
Okay, and also the community members. And I also want to tell you that very recently we have made an agreement with NETCO to provide training for this the future entrepreneurs,
Yes.
budding entrepreneurs in Sandy Grande. We are inviting them also to attend the seminar.
Great.
And of course, we also targeted our staff and faculty of University of Southern Caribbean, and as I told you, the community members.
Because this is a very interesting concept, because what you're doing here is that you're actually exposing graduate students
Yes.
to the realities of actually
business world.
doing business, conducting business transactions, establishing and growing a business. It's new in the sense that here you are, an academic institution, trying to ensure that these graduates are exposed to the real world
Yes.
of business. Now, why is it that the School of Business at the University of the Southern Caribbean has taken this approach? Was it because you saw that this was a deficit in how we were actually training our business students?
Yes. If you see entrepreneurship as a catalyst for economic transformation is well established in developed world. And however, while there has been successful Caribbean entrepreneurs, for example, Butch Stewart from Jamaica.
That's Bush Stewart, yes.
Yes.
Sandals.
Arthur,
Sandals, yes.
Arthur Lockjaw from Trinidad.
Yes, Associated Brands.
Yes.
Yes.
And Alan Chestnut from St. Lucia, among others, who have shown the possibilities.
And he's just today. He's
Yes.
he's
Now
also
the
involved in the hotel industry.
Yes.
Yes.
Among others, who have shown the possibilities from entrepreneur pursuits. There is still not widespread acceptance of entrepreneurship among tertiary graduates as a viable career path and of its importance in driving economic activity.
But I want to ask you, Dr. Rumila, when students engage themselves in doing business degrees, both at the undergraduate level and the postgraduate level,
Yes.
what are their expectations? Is it not that they should be expecting to, in fact, go out there and establish very successful businesses? Or is it that they're just doing this to become a part of already established businesses, to become managers in that sense?
Yeah, my understanding is, of course, there are two ways we can think in this line, okay, when it comes this matter, right, when we are dealing with this kind of matter. The first thing is that I know that there are some students who want to start afresh,
Yes.
okay, who have that entrepreneur mind. There are also students who are looking for already established model,
Right.
so that all they have to do is, duplicate that model, use that model to build up their business.
But in the context of a small economy like ours,
Yes.
we are living in a rapidly evolving global environment. Our business students, what should be their orientation? Should it be that they're simply being trained to become managers in these established business models? Or should it be that we should have a greater emphasis in encouraging them to go out there and establish new business models?
Yeah, I strongly believe, because now we come to a time where most of business graduates, they get their degrees and they get into their jobs,
Yes.
rather than starting up their own businesses.
Right.
But I think now the time had come.
Yes.
Where the business, the graduates who are especially graduating from business degrees,
Yes.
they should take, because they should also realize that Trinidad and Tobago, mostly if you see this business, they most of the products, if you see, are whatever the products they have here, right? The production takes place outside the country because most of the products are imported. So the students have to recognize that they have to start up businesses so that they can themselves manufacture the products. In that way, what happens is that the foreign exchange, right, the balance of payment and the foreign exchange will be staying within the country, and that strengthens the dollar value. And I think students should cultivate that kind of spirit to start up the businesses and engage in production so that you can boost the economy.
Based on what you see in Trinidad and Tobago, do you think that we have the enabling environment that can encourage these business graduates to in fact engage in that kind of new business development?
I've been here for past 6 years.
Congratulations.
So my general observation is that students, as I told you, I mean, you're talking about the environment, right? To start up the business.
Yes, the supportive environment, access to capital, access to technical support, legal services, accounting services, even in some cases engineering services to do what they need to do. Do you think that there's enough of a supportive environment for these students to make that step?
I can say that there may not be fully what you call adequate facilities for this, but nevertheless, if the students, I mean the youth shows interest, for sure the government will take initiatives to put in place, because any economy, if you see, I was reading an article just recently, it talks about New Zealand. If you see the New Zealand, most of the employment is generated through small and medium or micro enterprises. It is said 95% employment is generated out of this
small and medium sized sector. That's
only
amazing.
3.5 unemployment.
3.5% unemployment. That's amazing.
Yes. And especially a country like Trinidad and Tobago. It's a small country. We should accept the fact. Right, and I think most of our attitude here, usually the people's and the government attitude is that we want to target big companies to come and invest in the economy, so that there will be, of course, growth. But you should also realize that these big giants, foreign investment companies, they only come for a certain particular period of time, circumstances, because they keep on going to different places, because they have that ability to move from one country to the other country. So my advice is the government should focus on small and micro enterprises, and the youth and the students especially need to just have that kind of entrepreneurial spirit themselves. So that that will generate. There are various benefits, very well. When you encourage entrepreneurship, there are various benefits.
There's one last thing I wanted to discuss with you, Dr. Rumila, before we head out of here. The government mentioned recently that they're going to introduce this job creation program, where they plan to spend about 300 million to provide jobs to youth at risk. Would it be better for them to focus on getting these young people involved in their own business ventures rather than actually trying to create a job for them, help them to create jobs for themselves? Do you think that that's a more enlightened approach?
For me, I think, if everything is provided, ready-made, I don't think there is a value. There is a saying, everything that comes freely has no value. Right? What I mean to say is that the government, of course, they're taking initiative. We should appreciate, because they're coming forward to boost the employment. There's no doubt about it. We have to appreciate the initiatives taken by the government. But still, I think the government should allow the entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, to generate their own means to start up the business. In that way, they feel a sense of belongingness.
Yes.
Right?
And ownership.
Ownership.
Yes, yes.
And they also be very careful because it is not provided by,
by somebody.
Somebody.
Yes, it's their hard work,
Yes.
it's their creativity, ingenuity, and so on that keeps it going.
Definitely.
It's about sustainability, is it
Yes,
not?
yes.
Well, look, Dr. Rumile, it's been nice talking to you,
Yeah.
and I hope that you have a wonderful day at the
Yes.
seminar.
Yeah.
The role of entrepreneurship in economic development, with special reference to Trinidad and Tobago. It's on Sunday, 20th November, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So, folks, please make an effort to be there. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with you. You're viewing Morning Edition on TV6. We'll be back.